Yeah, so here we are, Arjana. Yesterday you were in Istanbul, now in about 7 or 8 degrees, and now we're here in Zagreb, and it's summer. It must be 27 degrees here. How have you survived the change in temperature from Istanbul to here?
Well, that was no problem really, the change in temperature, but it's getting back to work what is difficult, because I had such a great time in Istanbul, meeting all these people who I knew from Twitter. Meeting them in real life was a fantastic experience.
Right, and the one thing that was new this time was that Burcu decided to introduce, I have to speak a bit louder with the trams, these beautiful blue trams that you have here in Zagreb going over in the background. It was a new thing that we had the language learning experience. How did you feel about that?
Well, I wanted to give a lesson in Croatian, a lesson for beginners, so that we can kind of reflect on our way of teaching. So I decided to not to speak a word of English during the lesson, and I think I managed, but I only said one word.
All right.
I had a PowerPoint presentation, so I prepared a lot of photographs, and I use gestures to explain everything I wanted, and I think everybody understood quite well. I was worried before the session that no one would show up, but in the end there were 5 students.
Who came to your session, Arjana?
Rod Bolaito, Rakesh, Dimitris, Carolina from Austria, and there was a teacher from Turkey. Burcu was her name too. And I think we had a great time all together. Me as a teacher, that was my first Croatian lesson ever. And I think that they can say a few, if they came here, they would be able to say a few basic words in Croatian, and also they know some things about Croatia. They have learned, for example, because at the beginning I began the lesson with a quiz about Croatia. So my questions were all in Croatian. They had to answer choose the correct answer, but and they managed. It was really great because nothing was in English, you know, and they understood the questions.
So what things did you ask them about Croatia?
So my first question was they had to say, to answer the question, glavni grad Hrvatske je. So they didn't know what glavni means, what grad means, but I explained it with words like center, political center in Croatian, which is the same. So I used words industrial center and some parliament, and so they knew what it meant. Then where Dubrovnik is situated, north, south, I had a photo of Dubrovnik in one of the slides. Then how many islands there are in Croatia. So how many of them are inhabited, you see, so that it was difficult to explain it without in Croatian, in a language that they didn't speak, but they understood it really well.
And do you think that doing things about culture is a very important part of
Yes.
learning a language? And
Yes,
getting
I
people
think it
interested,
is.
yeah?
It is a part that you cannot just ignore. It has to be taught in.
And reflection was a major theme of the conference. Was there any time right at the end of the lesson to reflect on the experience? Did
Yes.
Rod and Racket, did they talk about how they felt about it?
Yes, well, I saw that they were enthusiastic about learning Croatian. They talked to each other without my help. They spoke Croatian, you know, and at the end they told me that they asked me how much time I spent on doing this presentation, and I just said I didn't know, because I was working on it until I thought that might be it. So I think it was okay.
Great. And would you recommend this for other conferences, to have a slot where people have a lesson in a language they don't know?
Oh yes, that would be nice, because language teachers are eager to learn foreign languages. That's one thing, and the other, for those who give such a session, it is also a great way to ask yourself, how can I teach this? What can I do to make them understand?
Good, great. Last night on ELT Chat on Twitter, we had a discussion about how we pass on things that we got from the conferences, and what we do ourselves to look back and think. And I think it's great that we've brought the conference to Zagreb here in front of the main station, the Glavni Kolodvor.
Yes.
And I hope that we carry on having a discussion about this on the blog.
Yes.
I'll ask some of the others to comment on what you've said.
I think that it's this international feel to ISTEK that makes it such a special conference.
Yeah, great.
And I think that the person who we all have to thank for everything is Portugal.
Wonderful. Thanks very much, Arjana. Thank you.